Fenris, the little wolf. On a cool autumn night, as the moon watched over the quiet forest in silvery light, the little wolf Fenris padded nervously through the underbrush. The leaves crackled under his paws, and the night was filled with the distant calls of owls and the gentle whisper of the wind. Fenris's eyes were wide open, and his heart was pounding. He was alone. It had been a mishap that separated him from his family. That morning, they had set out early to explore new areas. His parents, the mighty father Tyr, and the gentle but strong mother Freya, led him and his two siblings through the dense forest. Fenris was the youngest, the smallest, always curious, always distracted. And now that had become his downfall. While his family roamed through the forest, a walnut fell on Fenris's head, dropped by a squirrel that cheerfully leapt from branch to branch. Without thinking, Fenris followed the squirrel deeper and deeper into the forest. It was only when he stopped to rest and noticed the silence around him that he realized he was lost. Panic rose inside him. He whimpered softly, but the stillness of the night swallowed his calls. The forest suddenly seemed vast and eerie, its familiar paths hidden in the darkness. The branches of the trees stretched out like claws above him, and every sound made him flinch. "I have to find my family," Fenris murmured to himself. His breath was quick, but he knew that panic wouldn't help him. His father had often told him, "A wolf never loses his calm. He trusts his instincts." Fenris sat down, took a deep breath, and let the scent of the forest wash over him. He could smell the damp moss, the mushrooms, the cool, earthy scent of the ground, and then, faintly, he sensed something familiar. The scent of his mother. His heart leaped, and he followed the trace carried by a gentle gust of wind. He had to focus, couldn't let himself be distracted. Step by step, he followed the trail, which kept fading and reappearing. The hours dragged on, and the moon hung high in the sky by the time Fenris finally reached a clearing. His fur was damp with dew, and his paws ached, but he was determined to keep going. In the clearing, he spotted an old, hollow tree. He knew that his family often rested in such trees. He approached cautiously, and then he heard it. A soft, familiar howl, far off. His heart skipped a beat. That was his father. Fenris gathered all his courage and answered with a strong howl. The reply came quickly and clearly. "Fenris!" He ran, through the dense forest, over roots, and beneath low-hanging branches, until he finally stood on a small hill. And there, by the edge of a stream, he saw them. His family, his mother Freya, his father Tyr, and his siblings, who were looking around curiously. "There he is!" his sister Jara called. His mother immediately ran to him and lovingly licked his face. "We were so worried," she whispered. Fenris snuggled up to her and felt the warmth of her presence. He had made it. He was home again. I got lost," Fenris stammered. His father stepped closer and gently placed a paw on his shoulder. "But you found your way back," Tyr said with pride in his voice. "You trusted your instincts, just as I taught you." Fenris nodded, exhausted but happy. He felt safe, secure, and he knew he would never lose his way so easily again. Together with his family, they wandered deeper into the forest, which now seemed less dark and frightening. The moon shone brighter, and the shadows of the trees felt more familiar. Fenris knew he was not alone, and with his family by his side, he would never have to be afraid again. As dawn slowly brightened the horizon, Fenris lay down in the soft moss next to his siblings. His mother lay protectively around them, and his father proudly watched over his family. "Now everything will be all right," Fenris whispered as he drifted into a peaceful sleep, carried by the dreams of the forest and the safety of his family. And so, the night ended for the little wolf who had gotten lost but found his way back to his family. A testament to the fact that courage and trust in oneself can illuminate even the darkest of forests.